So typically on this channel, we talk about Bitcoin, crypto, and opportunities to generate yield. And that is still going to be the main umbrella topic of this video, how to generate yield within the crypto ecosystem. But I want to focus primarily on commodities, that mostly being the likes of gold and silver. I mean, there's no other way to put it other than the fact that silver and gold have been outperforming Bitcoin in, I would say, 99% of all cryptocurrencies in the last year. From 2025 to present day, mid-January, Bitcoin has really been more of a stable coin, and assets like gold and silver have been continuing to climb and making new all-time highs. So we're going to talk about in this video if you are a huge believer in those two assets, but you want to still stay within the crypto ecosystem and find ways to generate yield on those assets. We're going to talk about how you can do that in today's video. If you're new here, my name is Alex. Talk about crypto news, crypto passive income. If you enjoy content like that, consider subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, smash up the like. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. All right, so as we dive into this video about some of the yield strategies on gold, yield strategies for silver, we're going to look at what are kind of the tokenized versions that are currently available that are, I would say, the most popular out there, because there are some like new ones that come out every now and again, but they just don't have oftentimes a lot of traction. But obviously, we're going to look at the more established opportunities. There's two different tokenized gold versions, that being the one backed by Paxos and the other one by Tether. So you have Paxos Gold, which is at a $1.76 billion market cap. Excuse me. And then you have the likes of Tether Gold at $1.88 billion. So around a similar price point. You see the difference with Paxos also being the one. Tether is pretty self-explanatory, but Paxos is also the one that has a lot of unique aspects as well. They have Paxos has a ton of different stablecoins. You look at USDG, you look at PayPal, their partnership there. So there's a lot of big things for Paxos. I think from a regulatory standpoint, it's a lot cleaner than what you see with Tether. So I think that's the big thing. Obviously, that PayPal partnership was huge. And so either way, there's ways to generate yield on Paxos or Pax Gold, and there's ways to generate yield with Tether Gold. Now, for silver, there's simply just not as many options out there. And Kinesis Silver is going to be the largest one that currently exists out there as far as like a tokenized version of silver that you can trade. Now, there's also a unique aspect to Kinesis we're going to look at in just a second that makes it, where you can generate yield both on gold and on silver and more of a neobank type of approach, where we've seen a huge growth more recently in crypto debit cards that allow you to deposit stablecoins, earn yield or cash back on purchases. They'll be able to off-ramp directly to your bank account if you want to with little to no fees. There's been a huge growth in that. There's the point where having stablecoins within your wallet, your crypto debit card, being able to generate yield with that stablecoin in your wallet. So it's just a lot of really unique approaches with the neobank side of things. And Kinesis is really doing that more on the commodity side. When you're looking at gold and silver, there's oftentimes not a lot of ways to generate yield on that. But Kinesis is doing it. They've been doing it successfully and have been paying out millions of dollars of rewards. This would be the more centralized option that many would find very appealing. It does require, for those that want to set up a Kinesis account, it's free, but it does require KYC. So something to be cognizant of. But the yields and the opportunities available through Kinesis are significantly greater than what we're going to look at in a few of these DeFi options. And on top of that, none of these DeFi options have any yield opportunities, primarily for silver. They have a few here and there for gold, but most of it is not available for silver other than Kinesis. So Kinesis is essentially kind of like a neobank, right? But it's primarily targeting for the aspects of gold and silver. So essentially, you can earn on your gold savings every single month. They've paid out $8.3 million to precious metal savers in 2025, generating yield. You can see on a yearly basis, compounding, it's about 4% as far as yield. You can see what that looks like December monthly holders yield, what that looked like as well, and then the all-time holders yield payout. So it is pretty impressive what they've been able to do. Their total users earn about 36 million in gold and silver in 2025. And there's a really, really unique approach to how they're doing this. I think it's pretty impressive. They have the similar cash back of being able to get cash back on purchases. You can get a card, a virtual card if you wanted to. But there's a lot of unique aspects, right? You have the app, the trading platform, if you want to use that, the virtual card, and then you can also have the gold and silver, and you can also, if you buy the gold, you can get the physical gold if you want it, and that is pretty standard, I would say, with a lot of these platforms that allow you. Now, the biggest thing you'll see oftentimes with Kinesis is the fact that I think it was over here where they kind of highlighted the difference. Maybe it was over here, maybe it was on another page, but they highlighted the difference of using their platform, especially with fees. And that's typically when storing gold, it can be pretty expensive as far as the fees are concerned. Here's a lot of their products. You can see Kinesis Gold, Kinesis Silver. That's the biggest one because no other really platform out there has a yield opportunity for silver. You can earn yield by holding silver within Kinesis in that account. Like I said, with having a card, so maybe you have a stablecoin card. I am a huge fan of Cast, earn cash back there. Maybe you want to have cash back in gold. People have, there's credit cards out there that offer cash back in Bitcoin. So this is another opportunity to be able to kind of generate some of that yield and take advantage of that ecosystem with KAG, a tokenized silver. They also have tokenized gold. I wouldn't say it's not nearly as large as Paxos or Tether, but obviously those are two massive companies. The Kinesis virtual card, you can get 2% cash back in gold. That's kind of like the average. Some offer a little bit higher. Kinesis Pay, payments in gold and digital assets, different yield opportunities. So there's a lot of really cool things to create new Kinesis Gold and Silver. Great platform. You can probably do a whole video on this. I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to check it out. But this would probably be the biggest that covers both gold and silver for probably some of the better yields across these platforms that we're going to be looking at. Now, the next one is called Ore Finance. Now, Ore is an up-and-coming project on Solana. It is tokenized gold on Solana. Now, we've talked about Ore before, and this is one that can generate about 3 to 4% APY. I would say this is probably the second best specifically for gold. Now, Ore has a ton of backing. If you do some research on it and you watch some of my prior videos on it, Ore was founded by an individual or a group of individuals out of UAE that have years upon years, decades of history in the gold industry. So it's always good to have that type of experience, that expertise when it comes to gold companies. You can see currently TVL sitting at about 1.92 million. And you can see some of the approaches as to how it works. Vaulted one-to-one banked digital gold, always redeemable, globally accessible. Like I said, very similar. You can convert digital gold into physical gold delivered directly to your door. Pretty standard. You can use your gold as collateral to borrow on flexible instant terms. This is one of the things, part of the DeFi ecosystem that's pretty beneficial. If you want to have your gold and borrow against it, that's a really unique opportunity that you can see with the likes of Oro. And the opportunity for that yield is a lockup. So you would have to lock up gold for a period of 12 months. So just be mindful that you are committing your gold for 12 months if you're wanting to generate that yield. You can simply just deposit if you want to, but at that point, you're not going to simply generate as much yield in comparison, right? So you can trade and buy gold and have it here on the platform, but you're not going to generate any yield without locking it up. So something to be mindful of when it comes to the Oro ecosystem. Now, these last two are DeFi opportunities as well. This one involves Paxos and the likes of Tether. Now, this is a little bit more on the complex side, where it comes to creating a liquidity pool for PaxG and XAUT with USDC. So you could, collateral would be your PaxG and XAUT. and then you could borrow against that if you wanted to. Now, here's the thing is you can simply provide the overall collateral. It's not going to generate nearly as much yield, but it's a good opportunity that if you have PAXG, you want to hold it, and maybe you want to borrow against that because you want to trade, you want to have assets. You believe gold is going to continue and going up in value. You want to have a bit of assets. This 5% is not bad at all when it comes to your interest on what you're borrowing against. And so you can maybe take that, and maybe you're wanting to really leverage yourself because you think his goal is going to new all-time highs. You want to get into a long-term trade. And so not only is the collateral increasing in value, but you're also generating more returns in this instance if gold continues to increase in price because you borrowed some USDC, use that as on a perp dex to trade in order to increase your value that gets back to you, right? The other opportunity is through the likes of Curve. Curve Finance currently allows you to deposit Paxos Gold and Tether Gold for a yield. You can see here the yield is not anything insane. You can see the overall APY. You can kind of see that through here. It's not bad. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's not terrible. It's something instead of nothing, right? So anytime you can have your money work for you, I think is always a good thing. Not every platform has a ton of liquidity. That is one thing you have to be cognizant of. Depending on the amount of liquidity, you can see the USD total here, 3.7 million. Oftentimes what you're going to see with a lot of these gold yield platforms, there's not a lot of liquidity. So just be mindful of that. If you're getting involved in some of these DeFi platforms, especially when it comes to liquidity pools, when you look at something like Oro, you're not necessarily having to worry about a liquidity pool per se. With Fluid, you are. With Curve, you are. So just be mindful of that if you're using it as collateral or you're depositing to other assets instead of simply just buying the gold and being able to lock it up and generate yield. So, and just be mindful of that. Same thing with Kinesis. You don't have to worry about, collateral or liquidity pools or anything like that. Now, the last option when it comes to generating yield on some of these is going to be with trading. Now, we've talked about extended. We've talked about variational as far as different platforms out there that have upcoming airdrops, that have point systems be able to generate yield. There's some opportunities to be able to trade some of these assets. So for example, you can trade silver. Let me just see, you can't trade, let me see. So you can trade gold and silver. These are actual gold and silver on the likes of extended. So it's not going to be Paxos Gold or Tether Gold. And now on the likes of variational, you have the likes of Tether Gold. Let me see. You can also have the likes of Paxos Gold, but I don't think you have, you don't have the actual gold and silver. You have the tokenized versions on variational. If you want the real versions, that is currently available on extended. Pretty decent leverage, 25x, 10x. With variational, it's a lot higher. If you look at this 50x, which I think is insane. You should never use 50x, but if you want to have a little bit higher leverage with the tokenized versions, that's available on variational. I'll leave a link to it down below. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on these two commodities. Do you believe gold and silver are going to continue to go to new all-time highs, especially with everything that's happening around the world? What are your kind of approaches to generating more yield, making your money work for you, making your gold work for you, making your silver work for you in the meantime as the price does increase? I'd love to hear your thoughts on your different strategies. Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, smash up the like. Enjoy content like this. Consider subscribing. Until next time, guys, stay invested.